Hey y'all, welcome to my February setup video. I know I'm a little late this go round, but life be lifing out here, so we're going to get into it. Before we get started, I'm going to show you the stamp set that I'm using because I've been having this stamp set for a very long time, and this is one of the ones that I normally give the kids when they want to stamp with me, but I don't want to let them touch my good stamps. This is one that I picked up from Michael's from like an eternity ago. So let's get into it. Also, that eternity ago when I picked up that stamp set was the same time that I picked up this watercolor set, and I just found it on the top of a shelf somewhere. So I figured since I got these brushes for Christmas that I would try to do some real watercoloring. Now, I am not an expert. I normally use watercolor Tombow brushes, but I'm gonna try to do the real thing here because I got brushes and somebody is supporting me and learning something new. And doesn't it feel great to just be moisturized and supported by your loved ones? Like, it really does. So I'm out here, I'm learning, I'm tearing up, but that's what we do. That is what we do out here in these streets. So what you see me doing here now is I took a little bit of that watercolor paint, mixed it in with a little bit of water, and got it down to where I thought it would make just like a nice little backdrop. I did not get this even, but I'm not even sure if you can get things like 100% even with watercolor. And if you can, I'm just not skilled enough yet, and that's perfectly okay. So right now now that I have this lovely pink backwash, I am going to dry this out with my heat gun. This is a real deal heat gun that I got from Lowe's, and it gets really hot. But you could do this if you have like a heat embossing gun too, or just let it set out and dry. But I'm impatient. So here's the big cherry from the stamp set. I'm going to ink this up. Now this is the very first time I've used this stamp, even though I've had this stamp for years. So something that you need to know about stamps is that the first time that you use them, they aren't going to ink up very well. They just don't. And this probably has something to do with the process of which photopolymer stamps are made. So you have to rough them up. I'll show you how to do that a little bit later on in the video. But I tried to stamp this twice with my Memento ink, and it it was there enough for me to color, but not really. It didn't leave a good stamp impression. So I'm gonna fix that with later stamps. Right now, I am coloring in my cherries with my Tombows. I guess I could have painted it, but again, I'm not really like all that good with watercolor painting right now. So I'm gonna go back to what it is that I know, or at least that I think I know. Now what I'm doing, I'm trying to get some color down. I'm trying to layer my different colors so that I can get shadows and different effects like that. But I like the colors that I chose, but I'm not sure if they were right on top of this pink. Like maybe I should have done the cherry stamping first and then painted around it, and then did the cherry on like that white background. But it didn't come out the way that I thought it should have, or the way that I wanted to. And I think also I just probably didn't choose really good colors. Like I'm normally used to doing this with alcohol inks, and it would have worked out a lot better. But this is, chalk this up to me not knowing and not the tools themselves. Now, like I said, I started this a little late this month, so I'm gonna keep this kind of minimalistic, and I don't have too many spreads this go around, but I know how I am, and I know that if I don't put anything down, I'll just miss the whole month of February, and it'll throw me off in March. So I'm going to make a little something, and then I'm one of those people where I feel like if I haven't done it, or if I feel like I haven't done the spread, then I can't plan the month. I don't know, but I can't get past if it's not decorated, if it's not set up, then I just do not function well for the rest of the planning. I need to be better about that, but I'm working with who I am today so that I can be the person I need to be for tomorrow. I draw the same calendar every month, so no need to show you me drawing it out. I'm just going to get directly into decorating it. So for whatever reason, I know I normally use the little circles in the corner, or maybe a little decoration in the corner. I don't know why I don't do the little line method a little bit more often, but then as I was drawing it, I know, because it feels a little lazy. So yeah, no to the line and no to the color block, but we're gonna use it this go around. Remember when I told you I was gonna tell you how to fix the stamp? Here we go. When you get a new stamp, you need to rough up the surface a little bit so you can get a better impression. Now, I was wearing a pair of jeans, so all I did was rub it up against my jeans, but you could also use an eraser. You could even use sandpaper, but I wouldn't suggest it. You just need something that's going to very lightly roughen up that surface so that the ink can get up there and transfer a little bit better. Back to our programming. I'm going to draw in the name of the month, which is February for this month, and I actually saw this method on TikTok. I can't even remember the original video because I had seen it so long ago, but they started off with a base color, traced that, and I'm tracing mine with the micron, with the dark gray micron, or maybe that's a medium gray. No, it's a dark gray, but I'm tracing it with the medium gray micron, and then I'm going to go back over it with a different color to add like some shadow. And then I'm going to try to add little effects to it. So this is what I decided to do for this month. I feel like every time I do this method, like just trying to do the brush lettering method, it reminds me of being a kid and how people used to have like really pretty handwriting, and they used to make like letter art and word art. Like I always wanted to be able to do it, but just never was good at it and didn't take the time to learn as a kid because I don't know, reasons. I don't know. I was a kid. But I like doing it now as an adult, and I'm glad that I get to recapture that. Now that we have the month written in, let's decorate the rest of this page. So I'm going to start off by coloring this cherry with my Tombow watercolor markers. Most of the time you'll do this with an ink pad, but I wanted the leaf to be a different color than the actual cherries. So I colored it in the way that I wanted it to. And it was at this moment that I actually realized there were 3 cherries and not just 2 here. So that was kind of neat. And all this comes from the same stamp pad. Like the stamp pad or the stamp set that I bought had the main focus, which were the 2 big cherries, and then it had like a bunch of smaller stuff that kind of goes with it. So, all right, now I'm just going to decorate the page with some other stuff. So I drew in these cherries myself, and I'm going to take the time to color them. I had the time to go back and kind of rethink how I was coloring things. So I'm going to start here with a light base color, and then I'm going to add in a darker color for shading, for like shadows, and then I'm going in with a medium color over top of that light color and to blend in the dark shadows. And I think that looked a lot better. And now I'm drawing in the cherry stem. And even on video, like I think this looks really good and is a whole lot more what I intended for these cherries to look like. Still a lot more room for improvement, but this is something else. Like when you draw 2 things that are right beside each other, something that I have trouble with is that differentiation. Like how can you notice one cherry or separate the 2 cherries from themselves instead of it looking like one big cherry blob? And I think I did a good job here by showing the shadow cast on the first cherry from the second cherry. And now I'm going to color in this leaf. So maybe I should have waited for the dark part to come in because it kind of frayed a little bit, but it still looks good. And now that I have everything drawn in the way that I want it to, I'm going to just decorate with a bunch of cherries. So I'm going to throw those around the page to kind of fill in some of that white space. And then something that you'll see me do is, instead of getting a solid impression every single time, I kind of take that first impression off. I like stamp it on my hand or a piece of blank paper, and then stamp it in my book. Now I'm going to move into my first setup for the week. So what I like about this setup is, like, this week has already passed. Like, this is the first week of February and I'm posting this after this week, but for me it was still important to put this week in my journal because a lot of stuff happened for me this week, and I want to make sure that I remember it. I want to make sure that it's logged into my memory. So the way this works is, of course, there's 7 boxes for 7 days. Each day is individually for whatever day I choose for it to be. Now, these aren't going to be drawn in order. So just because I'm in box, like the first box right now, doesn't mean that that's going to be the first day that week. Whatever day was the lightest in writing will be the smallest box. And whatever day I feel like I want to write the most about is going to be the largest box. Probably even include a picture or two, but that's how this one works. This is good for reviewing stuff, and I know as a planner you like to kind of write about things you like to write about things that are going to happen in the future and plan for those things, but it is equally important to make sure that you log the things that have already happened. For some people, that could be just so they can have a sense of accomplishment. For others, it could be just to reflect on what has happened so you can process and digest. Whichever one works for you, but I just know that I didn't want to let that week go. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and draw it. So here's my final flip through for this month. It didn't do a whole lot, but less is better sometimes. So here, I had the cover page, my calendar, and my first week. If you've watched this far, thank you so very much. I will be releasing new content on a weekly basis, so come back. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.